Hello and welcome back to another episode of Dookie Forge. I still have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm still doing it. So, I don't know if that gives me points, but it's something. I'll hug myself later. But in the last episode, we finished 2 of the 3 primary things that needed to be added to the mobile forge to make it a mobile forge, which those 2 things were the folding anvil arm and the folding vise arm. There are some issues with them, and in the future I will probably be doing some design changes and upgrades to help them along, but they are done and functional. And so we're moving on to the third important item to make this a mobile forge, and that is the forge itself. So the forge I decided to go with was Devil Forge from out of Lithuania. Now this one isn't just a off-the-shelf Devil Forge. As you know, I get all custom, one-of-a-kind items. This is actually from hell. As we all know, the gate to hell is in Lithuania, and so I had them actually travel to hell to get this thing crafted. So it's a little tougher than your typical Devil Forge. This is 10 inches long by roughly 4.5 inside square by 4.5, which is really nice. Single burner, but the kit comes with a little bit of extra KO wool for the filling in the gap in the burner stem, burner upright. We have some hose clamps and fittings. We have 2 handles for the doors. We have a hard fire brick for the bottom, some refractory cement rigidizer that needs to be painted on the KO wool on the inside to keep things safe and more efficient. Some propane hose. We have the regulator as well as the upright burner with air intake adjustable thing at the top. And of course, on-off valve. The reason I went with I think this is the DF Pro 2-door something or other. The reason I went with 2 rigid doors instead of, say, a 1-door plus an open end, where I could put, say, a fire brick door for that side. The reason I didn't do that is because I wanted something rigidly attached to the forge itself, because, as you know, I'm going to be rolling this around town, essentially, and the last thing I want is, brittle fire brick doors to be rattling around, falling over, or whatever, and breaking. And so I just wanted them to make sure the doors weren't going anywhere and I didn't have to worry about them. So this is what we're going to be putting together this episode. It comes with pretty good instructions, but this is yet again something I've never really done. So bear with me as I attempt to put this thing together. What we need for the first step of completing the forge is the rigidizer, cement. We need something for water and something for mixing. So I'm going to use this bowl to mix, and I don't really have a measuring cup, but this jar happens to have milliliters on the side. I don't know if you can see that, but right there above my thumb is the 200 milliliter mark. And the rigidizer cement comes with, I want to be gentle with it, comes with a basic set of instructions, and it says for the rigidizer use 210 milliliters of water and so on and so forth. Stir it for 15 minutes. After stirring, should be used as soon as possible, so painting it on, and after coating, wait for 1 day before using the forge. So to paint it on, we're going to use the paintbrush, which actually was provided in the kit, and my one-of-a-kind stirring rod. This is the backbone of a flamingo, or the neck bone. It's kind of all the same if you look at them. It's the best stirring rod you can get. I'm also going to be wearing a mask, just because, and don't want particles going in your mouth and in your lungs. and then I'm going to have the fume extractor going as well, just to help get any particulate out of the air and into the shop vac. So let's get started. The first step, I suppose, is getting the rigidizer into the mixing container with as little dust as possible. And I guess I should turn on that fume extractor, because that would be an important piece. And I should probably, it doesn't extend very far if it's attached to the wall, but what I'll do is I'll just move the bowl closer to the fume extractor so that hopefully some of the airborne particles will get sucked away. Now I want to make sure to get it all, but I don't want to be too agitative and get it airborne too much, so just trying to be gentle. Not get too much. All right. That is the rigidizer in the container. Next, let's measure up some water and go ahead and add that. I went ahead and got the water, or roughly 210 milliliters, and let's add it to the rigidizer and get a 15-minute timer going, so when I start mixing, I can roughly do it for 15 minutes. And now the fun begins. Definitely got to be gentle at first, because it's still easily airborne. All right, it's looking good. It's looking kind of like ice cream. Not the whole 15 minutes of mixing, but you know what they say. You put the cart before the horse, you got a car. So let's just make a car, because it's better than a horse in a cart. You know what I'm saying? It's time to start painting. What I'm actually going to do is flip this upside down so that the doors lay flat on the ground or flat on the table. Doing this with one hand is kind of a pain. There we go. So just be gentle. We don't want to agitate the kale wool too much. Don't want to get it airborne and all that stuff. But what I'm planning on doing is painting from the actual top, which is the bottom, and in leaving the bottom for last, which is now the top, because there's going to be a fire brick on the bottom anyway. So I want to make sure the top, the sides, and the doors are fully coated before I even go to the bottom. So hopefully this all works out, and looks like I'm probably going to have to change out a battery. But here we go. We've got our ice cream soup, and kind of nervous to start this because I'm just nervous. You can call me Nelly if you want. But here we go. I am noticing sometimes the KO wool is at the edges kind of tearing away if you brush the wrong way. So you definitely got to be careful with that. All right, door is coated. The inside, if I can get in there with, the inside is fairly coated. I didn't do the bottom much, but I think I'm going to flip it over and start painting the bottom a little bit and then see where I go. All right. Well, don't know how well I'll be able to show this, but I have the middle section of the bottom not really coated. I have it fairly well, as I see a empty spot right there, fairly well coated on the sides and top, but I'm just going to continue going around, cleaning it up, and I'll see you at the end. I'll try to show it off when I'm completely finished painting and cleaning it up. So, I think I got the cement painted on pretty well. It was a little more difficult than I was expecting, but I have it flipped over again to dry because if the cement drifts towards the top and the sides, I'm okay with having less on the bottom because there's going to be a fire brick. So in the video, the top is the bottom, and but I think I got it covered. All I'm doing is just little touch-ups here and there with my flamingo backbone, and I think hopefully it'll work out really well. Have very little cracking and all that other stuff, but this should be good. I tried to get inside of each of the holes, including the vertical hole a little bit. There's still some empty spots, but it's a real pain to try to get in there and not destroy the KO wool. It's very delicate, a lot more delicate than I was expecting. I've never dealt with the stuff, so yeah, it rips apart and falls apart very, very easily. So you got to be very gentle with it. But now we're just going to wait. I'm going to do some more touch-ups here. It says wait a day, so I'm probably going to wait a day or two, and then we're going to continue putting this thing together. While the forge is drying, I thought it would be interesting to actually go out into the real world and scout out the areas of the park that I thought I could utilize as my setup area. I haven't actually been to the park to check out and see if there's ramps and access to the areas that I'm thinking about setting up. So I'm going to take you along with me, and we're going to go check out the park and see what's up. See you outside. So I can't help but notice this uphill part going over to the bridge is might be a little bit more of a pain. So I might have to search for a flatter area to cross over. Maybe, I don't know if audio can pick it up, but maybe across through the park instead of on the main street, across that bridge might be smoother or less of an incline. I think it actually might be. Nice and flat once we get over here, it seems. Is that it? I think it might be. Let's get off the street and go down here, and hopefully it'll be a little bit quieter. Authorized vehicles only. I'm not a vehicle, so it's okay. So this is the area I was thinking of coming down and setting up. Now this ramp here is a little steep, so I want to walk around and see if there's a shallower or easier way, but essentially this is a giant field full of baseball diamonds, and I figured of all the places to set up, this might be one of the best. It's away from people. If somebody wants to play a game, they can play on one of the many fields or one of the many diamonds. I can set up on one and be left alone if, you know, nobody has to come near me. The challenging part that I'm seeing right now is just getting down here, because that ramp I came down, I think is too steep to go back up. And I'm seeing stairs right here, and obviously that won't work well. And then the baseball diamonds themselves look pretty far down, an extra, 25, 30 feet of height elevation, which you can't really see from the satellite. So that might be an issue. I'm just going to walk down there and see. It's a rainy day, so I want to see what the dirt is like, so that if I do come out here, if I can, then I'm curious to see if the sand or the dirt is still okay, if it's a little damp or not. It's definitely goose poopy and wet. So, hey geese, get the hell out of my way. I want to see if this is super muddy. Oh yeah, no way. No way coming out here during wet time. No way, because that is not sand, that is goop. That is goop. So now, what I really need though is a way to get down here that isn't so steep. And I might be away on the far end there, but so far, every entrance to this place is a little too difficult, and I might get stuck. There is a section across the street to our left currently that may be more promising. It's not as big of an area though. I was hoping I could come out here and kind of be away from people and have plenty of space so that nobody has a real reason to have an issue with me being out here. And depending on how steep those ramps are, they look pretty steep. Yeah, of any entrance, it's either this one or the one I came down, and I don't think that's pretty steep. It probably doesn't show in the camera, but that's a good, I don't know, 6 foot of elevation from where I'm standing. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but this is bumpy ground coming off of grass. There's no way I could get enough speed or traction to push that cart, even though overall it's not that heavy, but no way. So unfortunately, my spot that I would really like looks like it'll be a no-go. Unfortunately, that's too bad, because that would have been perfect. Of course, nothing ever works out. So the second spot I want to check out today is literally just across the street. You know what? I'm gonna cross the street here and check out this area first, because the street light was going this way. All right, well, it looks like this area is already a no-go. It's all fenced off. Well, there is an opening over there, but it's all fenced off. This is probably like some garden or some schnups. Dang, that won't work. Good. So let's just walk on out there. I know what I'm doing. So right here looks like a nice flat area if it was dry. If it's, I'm feeling the grass, it is way too muddy if it was wet. So no rainy days out here either. So this area is, though, nice and flat, away from the road, and I can get to it. Now I could only leave on the side I just came in. Obviously, the side I'm heading towards is a big ramp, but it looks plausible. So this might be a plausible location to kind of set up. Not here in the middle. Here in the middle it looks a little extra muddy, but maybe over there. It might be hard to see because it's pretty dark outside, even though it's mid-afternoon. But let's go to the other diamond fields and see, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's a better location than the first one. All right, already on a non-wet day, I know I can get out here because I can come right off here, roll over this mulch, as long as it's dry, and come on out here. So I can get here with the cart. So that is a plus. It's not as far away from people as I would want, and this is more of a sandy mud. It's not quite the pebbles. Oh no, this is muck. Okay. Nope, definitely don't come out here. It's more like clay. Almost got stuck there. But the grass, if it's dry out, this area I think would be kind of ideal. The sidewalk is right over there, and I'm gonna walk around the entire perimeter just to see and scout out any better entry points or leaving points, obviously. I guess the nice thing is if it's dry, I could come in and roll all the way out here to this far diamond just to get away from anybody a little bit more. Now I am noticing, holy crap, do not come out here if it's wet. It is a marsh out here. So, oh dang it, it's in my shoe. It's in my shoe. It's in my shoe. Whatever it is cold and it is in my shoe. So this diamond is the farthest one away from sidewalk, the road. This is probably the one I would want to set up at, or even behind the diamond. if it makes sense, but it might be too hard to push through all this grass because it is pretty undulating and it's not really manicured smooth. So, but this area right here, I'm right on the train tracks, which probably won't be good for noise, but I'm far away from people. Ooh, beside the tennis courts, here's the railroad tracks. So I think this is probably going to be the place to go, either this far diamond or behind the diamond right down back here, or next to this concrete brick wall. Might be useful to have nearby if that makes sense, but this probably not. It looks a little beat up, but this is going to be the place that I try first, see how it goes. Maybe behind the diamond, maybe on the diamond. I mean, during the summer, these trees will provide at least a little bit of shade, so that'll be nice. And during the winter, well, and the summer, I just have to be careful not to come out here while it's wet, or I will be stuck. Absolutely, 100%, not even a chance. I was hoping that there was good enough water drainage in these fields that even if it, recently rained, I'd be able to come out here, because I'll only really, be able to come out here every weekend. And if it rains that weekend, well, I'm kind of screwed. So I was hoping the drainage would be better, but it is definitely not. It is swampy. But yeah, I think that is the place. I'm gonna go out there, set up, early morning, one weekend in the near future. I'm just gonna continue walking around the perimeter just to check it out, but I think that is where, and I'll draw out on a satellite image kind of where I'm thinking and where I'm gonna walk from. I'm just gonna walk back now and see you back at the penthouse.